So many people email me and DM me on Twitter and text me and they say, when are you going to have Ole back on the show? I think they don't realize, Ole, you and I are about 2 years into doing a sponsor exclusive regular show on Mondays at 11 a.m. It's Light on Conspiracies with Ole Dammegard. How are you today, Ole?
I'm good. But maybe, Jason, maybe we should do a show on your normal channel and just inform people about it.
Luckily
so that they're...
Yeah, luckily that's what we're doing right now, letting everybody know that 11 a.m. we'll be starting a sponsor exclusive show. We've got some special guests. Do you want to tell everybody what we're going to be talking about today, even though my image is somewhat inaccurate?
It's a beautiful image, though, and yoga is yoga. But what I thought is that there's so much fear going on in the world now with this new virus scare and all kinds of weird things happening, or alleged weird things happening in the world that scares a lot of people. And I focus a lot on trying to expose the facts so that people can make up their mind for themselves. You know, is this something to be scared of, or are we being informed with the wrong information? And it's almost like I had this image the other day, you know, like I've heard about a person who drowned, and it was like on 4 feet of water, because that person was so terrified of drowning that he didn't put his feet down. He was so afraid of going under that he drowned on like 4 or 5 feet of water.
Wow.
And here I am trying to say, you know, let's see if we can get ourselves in balance so that we can see, are there support underneath us? Are we safe, or are we actually drowning? And I think there's this wave of propaganda and fear-mongering that is trying to induce us into constant fear. And so my intention is, let's find out what's going on. Is it something to fear, or are we being played with? And so many times I tell you, we're being played with. Yeah. And so this time, this is a treat for me, because I'm bringing together 2 very important people in my life. My Raj Yoga teacher, Nelani Chelaram, who is, I tell you, 1 in a billion. She has changed my life. I met her, Kim and I met her about 10, 15 years ago, something like that. 15 years ago. And she was the first person I've ever met in my whole life that did everything without any hooks. She's just giving, devoting her life to selfless service, which means anything she does is for the benefit of others. And I'm not talking about doing this as an ego trip or doing this. She just lives a beautiful, beautiful life. And for me, it was absolutely transforming, because up until then, I had been trying to walk this way that I didn't know had a name. And the same way as Gandhi or Martin Luther King, I was learning along the way by these, especially Gandhi, that it's possible to make a change and do things without force, without violence, without persuasion hardly, just by living by example and in a non-violent way. And so I think these individuals are extremely important. And then we met through incredible circumstances. We met Nelani, who is, she's like her life is like a Cinderella tale, but in reverse. She was born in a very, very rich family in Hong Kong. She comes from an Indian family, brought up in Hong Kong with servants and, the whole shebang, and got educated in the US, I think maybe in the UK as well, but like a princess story. And then she married by her own free will a man who was not rich, and they moved from Hong Kong away to Gibraltar, which is it's like half an hour from here, where she had to start her life from scratch, more or less, and became a sort of a normal person who had to scrub the floors and clean the toilets and this whole thing. And then it came to a point where she came into a situation where she wanted to find out what the real truth is, and that transformed her whole life, becoming I won't say global spiritual leader, but she has helped thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and she's traveling around the world a lot, spreading the science of the mind, the old Raj Yoga or Raya Yoga teaching, which is a 5,000-year-old philosophy, but like a manual of how to deal with this thing between your ears. So she has helped me and Kim extremely much with these old teaching about how to deal with fear, how to deal with problems, how to deal with all these type of things. And this is also what I'm trying to share, because many people say, how can you be so fearless? What's up with you? Why don't you get angry? Why don't you, can't you see the madness? I can. And I do become fearful when I lose my balance, but I know the tools how to get back in balance. So it's up to me. So it's Melanie, who comes from that end of the spectrum. And then we have our beautiful good friend, Cody Snodgrass, the CIA former black op independent contractor under the CIA for more than 20 years, an absolute former monster who have ended people's lives, who have tortured people, who have done all kinds of horrendous stuff in the name of greed. So he comes from that end, and then through different experiences, including 2 near-death experiences he transformed his life into becoming some kind of a spiritual leader as well, and a whistleblower that I helped step forward 2-3 years ago, and who have been assisting us and the rest of the world with incredible information over the years, which has been really, really helpful when it comes to informing the world about what is actually going on behind the scenes. So I think it's going to be really interesting to bring these two people together so that we cover the whole spectrum of so many different things. And I know that Cody is really looking forward to this as well. I know when he was, he's almost died a couple of times after he stepped forward as a whistleblower during very severe illness and also attacks. And Nelanie has been helping to pray for him during these times, and he has felt her spirit, and he's like blown away by the purity of this individual. So we got Nelanie, who is one person as a private person, I think, and then when she teaches, oh my God, Jason, it's mind blowing. She's just the most beautiful individual, always in balance, always happy. I mean, I've seen her over these years. We've been very close to her. I've seen her go through absolute horrendous situation. I think 3 or 4 of her family members have died. I've seen her in severe illness where she's been maybe facing death. I've heard about her when she's been facing crashing in airplanes and all kinds of stuff. So I've seen her close up, like, does she walk her talk? Is she the one that she appears to be? And I'm not saying what she's sort of pumping herself up to, because she's extremely low-key but radiant, kind, extremely kind, and always there for everyone else, but without being a doormat. I mean, when she, she was really angry with me once, I tell you. Oh my God, it was like, I got that message. Wow. But that was because I stepped over the line. It was totally my thing. She more or less slapped me in the face, but verbally, like this. And then afterwards she said, okay, now tell me. Because what I did was I stepped into a very, it doesn't matter, but she had this retreat, and I just came in very fearful. It was the first time, more or less, I had experienced chemtrails big times, and I was just freaking out, and I thought I need to inform Nelanie about these things because so many people are listening to her. And so she more or less slapped me in the face, just like, how dare you come into this space and spread this type of thing. And after that, she said, now tell me about chemtrails. So I did, and since then she has been praying for the sunlight and the light to be so strong that these pilots can't fly these planes, and so they have to stop this thing. It's she's absolutely beautiful, I tell you. So and whatever she talks about, including death and disease and traumas, it's always with a smile on her face. You know, it's always with extreme kindness and love, and it's such a I'm so blessed to see her as a close friend, and she will always be my teacher as well, because her knowledge is mind-blowing. So her and Mr. Bad Boy Cody Snodgrass combined, I mean, what a treat.
Yeah. And that show will be starting in just about 20 minutes on Patreon and Subscribestar. People can join us there by becoming sponsors of either Light on Conspiracies or Crowdsource the Truth. Ole, I don't mean to distract from the topic that we're discussing today, but we've got Michael in the comments with a persistent question that I think he'll be angry with both of us if I don't ask you. He saw you recently on Owen Benjamin, and it's his opinion. I'm not very familiar with Owen Benjamin. It's his opinion that Owen Benjamin, in Michael's words, is anti-Semitic, and he took issue with you referring to the Holocaust as the alleged Holocaust. He's asking if you're a Holocaust denier. And before you answer, my understanding is that you've questioned the number of deaths reported in the Holocaust, and you, as you do with most of the things that you explore, you're drilling down into the actual facts of the claims. I don't think you believe that there was no internment of Jewish people in Germany in World War II, or what's your position on Michael's question here?
Listen, Michael, thank you so much for the question. I totally understand it. And I would very much recommend, if you go to my website, lightonconspiracies.com, go under topics. There's one called Ole's Censored Videos. You might still be able to find on YouTube, but I'm getting shut down right, left, and center. This is also why we focus on Patreon. And when you click on that, there was one video called Making Critical Thinking Illegal. I think, yeah, the second one there, boom. Listen to that one. That's 2 hours. That I stand for 100%. I question a lot of these things. And the official story of the Holocaust is now totally different than most people believe. And so please listen to that one. Whatever is said in that one, I stand by like this. But this is a topic. It's like putting a shotgun against your head. If you start saying things in this topic, is the way to get shut down. So I prefer referring to this. I mean, I'd be happy to do a 2-hour show with you or whatever, where we can go in great detail. But just to say something like "whoa" on the run, I prefer. Please listen to this one, and I stand by this. When it comes to Owen Benjamin, I know nothing about the guy. I haven't heard any. I didn't know about him. It was just somebody referred or told me that he had started referring to me in his live streams, and so I checked him out, and it turns out that he is a stand-up that have been quite well known. He's been in different sitcoms and movies and whatever. So we had a really, really interesting 2-3 hours. I thought it was a super interesting conversation. And so whenever I do interviews, I stand by my things. I stand for what I say, whatever the other person is or their agenda or who they are, I have no idea. So that's my take on that one.
And I operate essentially the same way, Ole. I like to give people the opportunity to state their position, tell us the information that they know, and then it's up to the audience to discern if that person is telling us something valuable, truthful. It's impossible for me to know. We deal in such varied topics across such a wide range. So it looks like all the technical issues have been cleared up, and we're going to be ready to start our sponsor-exclusive show on patreon.com/lightonconspiracies, patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth, and subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth. In just 15 minutes, we're going to be joined by, help me pronounce her name again, Ole?
It's Nelani, even though it's spelled a little different. Nelani Harilela Chelaram. So it's a quite exotic name.
Yes.
And then Cody
and Cody
Snodgrass.
as well.
That is
Yes.
also, that is a bit of a exotic name as well. I want to say with this whole thing, people keep saying to me, why do you only do it on Patreon? We get shot. Please understand this. We would love to do it on YouTube or wherever. But it's like I was on Alfred Levermont Weber's show the other day, and we did a Facebook Live at the same time. As he just wrote in the title, update with Ole Dammegard, and boom, he got a strike before we even started airing it. And that's the beginning of the interview. He's like, I can't believe this. I just wrote a new night. So now he's banned from Facebook until the 23rd or something like that of April this year, just by writing in my name. So this is what we're up against. And that is why we've chosen Patreon and Subscribestar so far. I mean, who knows how it goes, but we're just finding different ways of getting this type of information out there. And it would be $1 or more for you to take part of it. I say that's not more than fair. Do you think so?
Yeah, it's important, Ole, because the thing is, what YouTube has done and what Google has done, it's really akin to the heroin dealer business model where the product is provided for free until the customer is hooked on it. Like YouTube is such a robust platform, it's really difficult to understand how they can have so many computer servers and so much storage, and there's got to be programmers working on it all the time and huge data centers. Crowdsource the Truth alone is uploading hours and hours of full HD content to YouTube every day of the week for almost 3 years now. They don't charge me a dime. So it seems impossible that some alternative company could come up with a competitive service, given that all of this is provided to the content creators and the viewers for free. But it's not free. What YouTube has purchased is the ability to control what people can and cannot view. For as little as $1 or $2 per month, $5 per month, whatever it is that people feel is fair, they can take back their right to choose what they get to watch, and they can join us on Patreon and Subscribestar. It's a really important way for people to protect their rights to choose, and I hope that people will join us. We'll be starting our show there in just about 12 minutes, so why don't we wrap up now and people can join us over on Patreon and Subscribestar. I look forward to today's show.
Me too.
Thanks, Ole. And thanks everybody for watching.